Even if I'm an addiction psychologist, you will never hear me preaching sobriety. That's up to every person to decide for themselves. What I will preach, though, is awareness, to be aware of the consequences of our actions and make a decision to act accordingly. You know, this is something I learned from my mentor, didn't teach us in college. Back when I was in therapy, she was my therapist back then, and I was struggling with alcohol. She could always tell if I had been drinking like even 3 or 4 days before, which was crazy to me. I was like, is this magic? Is she a psychic? How can she tell? Because in my mind, and we all think like this, 3 or 4 days after drinking, even if it's heavy drinking, like we're back at 100%. But apparently not. She was like, you were drinking 3 days ago, 4 days ago, right? And the answer was yes. She could tell, because if you are a good psychologist, you can tell. There are subtle dips in attention. You're thinking a little bit slower. Facial expressions, you can see a difference. Things like that, cognitive slowness mostly. And that's how you can tell, again, if you're a good psychologist. But what does this mean? It means that even though you may only get drunk once a week, you might be perpetually functioning under your optimal level and potential. So if you're getting drunk on Saturday, you're back at 100% by Friday, maybe, by which point you're drinking again. So you're never at 100%. Alcohol definitely limits your potential, and you can be fine with that. I mean, you can drink without being an alcoholic, without having a substance use disorder. And listen, we can all understand drinking is fun. It's true. It lowers your anxiety levels. Let's not beat around the bush. Any good psychologist will understand why you are drinking. So why does this happen? Well, first of all, alcohol affects your sleep structure and sleep quality. So it really affects your REM sleep, which leads to obvious cognitive fatigue and a longer time to recover. It also produces inflammation in the brain and affects neurotransmitters like GABA transmitters, dopamine. These, again, take time to recover at 100%. As your brain rebalances, subtle effects can last for days, many days after, especially after heavy drinking, even though consumption has been stopped. I do think being aware of this can help in therapy, can help you stop consumption if that's something you want. For me, it worked because it gave me motivation, I want to excel. I don't want to be at 80%. I want to be at 100%. It can even give me a competitive advantage, stopping alcohol. So that was, for me, of course, after investigating deeper rooted problems and traumas, and starting to function, this was one of the final steps, motivating me to be the best I can be. So again, you can drink without having a problem. It's your decision, but it's important to be aware. I do feel many people do not know this, that alcohol affects your potential. It doesn't allow you to function at 100%. We think it's just the hangover the next day, but it actually is a little bit more than that. So yeah, it's just about being aware of this and make your own decision.